What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to some of the new cards from Battle of Chaos. There was a small info dump today with about 6 new cards that were announced, as well as a new archetype, which we haven't covered yet, but I will get to. It was a dinosaur-based archetype, and I think it merits its own video, so we'll probably get to that a bit later in the week. But I'm going to ask you guys before we start, if you do enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Hit the bell icon if you want to stay notified of things when they're uploaded, usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. However, we have been doing live streams, and there is a live stream coming tomorrow night of the Megatin case. It will be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys can come hang out. We will be doing a giveaway during the live stream, so there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm hopeful to have people there. With that being said, let's jump into the actual meat and potatoes of the video, starting off with Proscription, which is a normal spell and reads as follows. Declare one card name. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same original name as the declared card for the rest of this turn. Also, you cannot activate cards or effects with the same original name as that card for the rest of this duel. You can only activate one Proscription per turn. So it's similar to Prohibition, obviously, in the sense that you declare the card name and that can't be used, but it does have, the fact that it negates the activation of cards and effects with the same original name, meaning it would bypass anything that was in the hand or things that weren't on the field. It's basically a more modern version of Prohibition, but it's not a continuous spell. Now, where it is neat is you can use this to stop hand traps and be able to play through things depending on what your opponent's using, but it only blocks for the rest of the turn, meaning you can preemptively stop something like an Ash Blossom, but it's not like Called by the Grave where you can react to it. You're sort of forcing yourself to play this when generally it seems like there would be better options. I know people are hyped about it with it being able to counter things like Max C, though I would just argue that Max C could be chained to this, at which point it would already be activated, and I don't believe it would have any real impact. So overall, relatively underwhelming unless there's something I'm missing. If you feel I am, feel free to point that out, but it does seem like a card that is just another set filler. Next one is Recklessness and Punishment, Evil Eye artwork, which is really cool, although I don't think it has any direct correlation. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, activate one of these effects. Either destroy one monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the difference, or special summon one monster from your graveyard with attack less than or equal to the difference. So, if your life points are 6,000 and your opponent's are 8,000, you can pop a monster with 2,000 or less attack, and same for the revival. It's definitely neat. It's not a hard once per turn, so it has a bit of usefulness in that regard. And the new Dino archetype does rely a lot on life point costs and paying life points, so there might be some synergy there, and it could be worth keeping an eye on, but overall it does feel like more often than not, outside of niche uses, this isn't really going to do anything great. I guess, I'll reserve judgment if things start to come out that are reliant on paying life points and can interact with them well, then it's potentially solid, but it does feel like it's going to rely on your opponent to do damage, or at least rely on you being able to resolve cards that have life point costs, and therefore is not going to immediately out of the box be ready to use, which sort of hinders its ability as any kind of a card worth paying significant attention to. Next up is End of the Line. This is a really interesting card on paper. If your life points are less than 100, draw 2 cards. Then, if your life points are less than 10, draw 2 additional cards. So, potentially up to 4 cards off of one trap. I just don't know how you'd ever actually resolve this. I know Winged Dragon of Rock can set your life points to 100, so I guess if you're at 100, you could play like Solemn Judgment and pay half your life points and then be able to draw 2. But the amount of effort you're going through to make this live is borderline. It's not borderline, it's a hindrance. It doesn't actually do anything for you. And getting your life points to less than 10 I think would require paying half your life points so many times that you were... I don't even know a realistic scenario in which this would come up. I don't think there's anything that lets you pay life points until they equal 1 or something, but maybe there's a combo, maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. I feel like Relay Soul is a random trap that might be able to activate when your life points are at 0 and do something, but I don't even know if it would synergize with this. I think the amount of effort you'd have to put into this to play it would not be worth the +4 or +3 technically, which is kind of crazy to say because advantage in Yu-Gi-Oh is always super important. Mutant Mutator. This is the big one here, and actually a really surprising card that seems to be genuinely good. Had there been a couple of other mutant cards, I would have made this its own video, but there wasn't, so it got locked in. If you control a mutant card, you can special summon this card from your hand. You contribute this card, then banish one mutant card from your hand or deck, special summon one monster from your hand or deck based on the banished card, and if you do, lose life points equal to that monster's original attack. So you've got a monster, lets you summon Mutant Beast, a spell summons Mutant Mist, and a trap summons Mutant Arsenal. So this is the best mutant card that's ever been printed. That's not an exaggeration. It's genuinely the only card they have that gives you a real sort of advantageous extender play, and does allow you to get access to whatever you need from the deck. Now, I don't know whether or not this is going to be enough to do anything significant, but with E-Telly at 2, and mutants having, a lot of potential, but just missing pieces to pull them together, it's definitely a huge step in the right direction. I think it's the only mutant card that's announced. It would seem weird if we didn't get the other ones announced at the same time, but it's certainly really intriguing, and people who are fans of mutants will be happy to see that there is still support being made for the archetype beyond what came out in Phantom Rage. So, remains to be seen, but I give this a more positive than negative in terms of its application, and I hope to see it actually do something over time. Catnip Lihua is actually one I like quite a bit. Level 2 Wind Beast. You contribute this card, then target one level 2 monster in your graveyard except itself, special summon it, then you can special summon one level 2 monster from your hand with a different attribute than that monster. So, reviving, as well as an extension, being able to put some stuff on the board. I don't know what this is going to do immediately, but it does feel like a card that could easily be worked into some combos. I see things like maybe like Ojama, but I don't think Ojama is going to be the right application there. I'm just thinking of level 2 Beast. I know there's different ones like Kalantosa, Beast of the Forest. I think Tri-Brigade Kit might be a level 2. Either way, there's some beasts that exist that you can do some cute combos with, and so for that reason alone, it feels like more than set filler, but I don't know it's going to do anything right off the bat. It's definitely interesting, though. And the last one, I think on paper this one's really good, to be honest. Mad Hacker. It's a level 2 Dark Cyberse. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the end phase, you can banish this card from the field, take control of one monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack, but while it is face up on the field, it cannot activate its effects. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Link monsters. So, it's a hand trap, and if you special something, or your opponent special something, you drop this, and then during the end phase, assuming it lives that long, you could take control of it. Obviously, if you can use this during the end phase, that's great. I don't know, in response to like an E-Telly or something, but more often than not, that's going to be a pretty specific usage. What it does feel decent about is, if your opponent's playing a deck that doesn't allow attacks, or if you're playing something that can stop them from attacking, being able to resolve this is pretty powerful, but I would imagine in most cases, the opponent is just going to run it over. Main phase 2, if they can't pop it, they special something, you drop it then. It does seem like it has some potential application. It's a cute card with some awesome artwork, and it's not the worst card I've ever seen, being a Cyberse. We'll see whether or not there's some better application than what immediately strikes out to me on the surface, but I would give it a 5 out of 10 in terms of my initial optimism in its playability. So that's going to take us through the 6 cards that were announced. A bit of a shorter video today, but I did want to recap them, especially because some of them do feel like they have potential on the surface. But again, that feels like the whole theme of Battle of Chaos. A lot of cards with potential so far that may or may not end up being really good. So, what do you guys think of these cards? You think they're going to be good? You think they're all pretty much filler? Are you excited about them for anything? Specifically the Mutant card, I think that's definitely one of the best pieces from this leak. And I'm really interested to see what else we get, as Battle of Chaos definitely shapes up to be an exciting set with a lot of potential, and we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Hopefully you guys join us tomorrow night for the Megaton live stream. Really looking forward to it. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.